let's chat.
Okay, so I was going to start about how you called me a suck. And so here we are.
But why did I call you a suck?
So I was going on about trivial things, and my dad had just passed away, and you said, I think you're being a bit of a suck. And I was like, oof, I thought you said you were less brutal than you used to be.
I'm less brutal, yes.
You're less brutal now?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So that was, nobody has ever actually said that to my face. Maybe they've called me that before, but never to my face. So I thought, okay.
Just like you rapid fire at me in your text messages. Like just
because I'm such a writer and not a speaker.
So just get into that mindset.
Okay.
Just get into that mindset. Just breathe. Just get into that
Just
mindset.
breathe.
Pretend that's not there.
Just breathe. You're so cool and calm and collected. You hate the camera. And
I
I'm
do,
so
but you
impressed
know
with
what? Can I be honest?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Let's just start there. Okay? And then we'll go back.
So before,
Yeah.
like this is boo-boo I got.
Yeah.
So before, I was so self-conscious about everything. I would walk into a room and I would be nervous and I would just observe and I wouldn't even like enjoy myself because I'd be so nervous about everything and everybody. And that persona gave off that, oh, she's a bitch. Like, she's so.
I always thought so.
Right.
Yeah,
Everybody's first impression of me was a bitch. But little did everybody know that I was insecure because I didn't know what to talk about. I didn't know what to think about. I didn't know who to talk to.
Yeah.
And I put so much stress on myself that I never really enjoyed myself.
That's so true.
And
actually, people don't actually care.
No.
I think we think that you're walking into a room when everybody's just talking about you. And it's just like, no, that how very self-important of us to think that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's funny because anytime anybody's met me after the fact, they've always said, oh, I thought you were such a bitch.
Yeah.
You were so like, and you look like you were too important. And it really, I was just trying to stay out of the spotlight because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say, especially when I went to events with like my husband and,
he's so social.
Yeah. So I let him do all the talking.
Yeah.
And then these last 2 years, I don't know, it was just like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, especially since everything that you've gone through, which is why we're going to get into that. So I guess I'll just lead with, this is Valeri, and she's here from, now I don't know how to say it. So it's Veracia?
It's Veracia.
Veracia.
But I've heard Veracia.
Yeah.
I've heard Veracia.
Yeah.
I've heard all sorts of different variations. And anybody can call it what they think it sounds, but it's Veracia.
And it's the truth or accuracy in Italian. Correct?
Yeah, it's a spin-off.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a spin-off of truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we are. So we got into that. So I'm just going to dive right in with a quote from you. Mm-hmm. I've navigated years of fertility heartbreak, said goodbye to people I love far too soon, faced the fear of cancer, and held it together for everyone, even when I was breaking inside. I've helped build a family business, raised babies, and held space for others long before I knew how to do that for myself. And through it all, I kept showing up, sometimes strong, sometimes messy, always honest. I don't pretend to have it all figured out, but I have figured out that being real is way more powerful than being perfect. So what moment in your life made you stop pretending that everything was okay?
Oh my God, that's so heavily loaded.
Yeah. Like maybe just bring us back. So you were a real estate agent and a mom.
Well, no, if we're going to go way back.
Yeah, okay. We have an hour-long timeline. So you owned...
went to school, U of T, graduated with a criminology degree. Mom started a business and it was daycare. And at the same time that I graduated, she needed help with the expansion. So I came home and started working with mom at the daycare. And, it was fantastic. Loved running a business. It offered us so many opportunities. And I enjoyed doing it. But it wasn't my life's ambition. It wasn't always what I envisioned myself to do. But it was great while I was there. And it grew. It grew from 24 children to 48 to 97. And it's probably one of the most successful.
It's the most well-known, I think.
Daycare, in Hamilton, which is, amazing. But there was always something that was unsettling. And as growing up in an entrepreneurial family, I never felt fully fulfilled. And that's when I went into real estate. And I loved it. I loved working on my own. I worked with my brother, which was great. I loved being able to do my own thing, be my own boss, go explore, meet people, and help people and talk to people, because buying a house is one of the biggest investments you'll ever make with your life. And with anything like that, you've got emotions, you've got so many moving parts, you've got dreams and aspirations, and, you know, I loved that part of it. And then while dealing with all this was the fertility. So my husband and I got married when we were 30. We were older. 31, we said, okay, let's try.
That is not older by today's standard, but
Today's standards, yes, but 18 years ago.
Yeah, you were a dinosaur.
Well,
perceived that way. Back in the day. From an Italian household and family, right?
Well, Frank didn't get married till after I did. So, anyways, Vince and I had known each other since we were kids, and same, you know how Stony Creek is.
Yes.
Everybody knows
each other.
everybody. And ironically, we started dating, got married, and everything was textbook. I had a great job. I found a guy that loved me. We were happy, and I had the storybook life. Like, everything was great until we started trying to get pregnant. And everything I believed I was capable of, everything that I thought I should be able to do and come naturally, didn't. And being a control freak and being able to achieve most things that I put my mind to,
This one was out of your control.
Not being able to conceive just killed me. And it was hard. We did everything. We did IUIs, we did potions, concoctions, we did acupuncture, like we did everything. And 7 years it took. And we gave up. We finally said, you know what, this is just too much. I can't do it anymore. Watching everybody else have babies.
I know, it's so hard.
It was hard. My brother had, 2 by the time I had 1.
That's a really hard pill to swallow when you are wanting it that bad.
It is.
Yeah. I remember going through that as well when I was married, and then photographing pregnant women and newborns. And I was like, this is very painful. Like, it's almost a cruel joke.
You hate yourself.
Yes. And resent other people too, which is not me. But it was like, okay, I can't. It's just too in your face, right?
It ruined our marriage.
Yeah,
My
I
marriage
bet.
almost ended several times.
Was he just as gutted over it, or was it more...
I think for a man, it's different.
Yes, for sure.
It's different because as a woman, it's almost like a failure,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Because that's what we're born to do is have children.
Yeah.
And I think he was gutted, but he got over it,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Like, he went on talking about buying a Porsche.
Right.
Like, that was his solution, whereas
yeah.
mine, it was just,
Very surface level, and yours is probably to go deep.
Yeah,
here we are.
and in all fairness, like when we decided that, okay, we're done. I didn't truly fully believe and feel that way. I did it because emotionally we just couldn't handle it anymore, and at that point it was just about moving on. But until I actually accepted it both mentally and emotionally, it was something that just broke.
And it was probably not helping your body either. Just the
no.
stress of all of that. It's like it's like your body's literally rejecting.
Yeah, like the stress, the unexplained fertility is.
Yeah, we had the same. We had no problems, and it was just like, okay, well, this is not working. In hindsight, I understand why now.
Nothing was aligned for us,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I was going through getting my real estate license. He was going through a career change. We were spending money on fertility. We were, sex became a chore. It wasn't, we didn't enjoy it. So our whole lives were misaligned.
Yeah.
Nothing was kosher. And conceiving a child in that, it's not possible. Like, you just can't. There's it's just not.
Yeah.
And frankly, I wouldn't want to, right? Because you have to find your partner again. You have to both get back onto that same page. And that's what happened. As you know, we gave up. We followed Pearl Jam for a week.
Yes.
We had wine. We smoked.
You just let it go.
We smoked. We celebrated.
It's unfiltered, so
We smoked weed. Like, we went back to, when we started dating. Like, we enjoyed each other. We had fun. We laughed. Like we met people, and it was just free and like it was.
Yes.
We were free.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
And I got pregnant.
Oh my God.
I got pregnant, and I still remember.
I have goosebumps. It's just crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
I still remember. Like it was. So we Pearl Jam toured, and I think it was like. And I'm really bad with dates and names, so don't quote me on this. But I found out pregnant in May. So January, February. So February, March, April.
Of
So
what
April.
year? What
April.
year?
Leo was born 2017, so
Right, okay.
it would have been 2016. Yeah. So we went to Ottawa. No, we went to Quebec first.
Yeah.
I think that's where we got pregnant. We went to Quebec first, then Ottawa, and then Toronto. So I remember peeing on the stick because I was so not thinking.
You weren't thinking.
I wasn't thinking about being pregnant.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about, and
That
we
is
had
wild.
long weekend away, and we went away to the cottage with friends, and we drank. We had fun.
Yeah.
We were just
Like you said, free.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And my husband looked at me one day. He's like, "You're different," and I was like, "No." Like he's like, "Go take a pregnancy test," and I did, and I was pregnant.
Oh my God. I love that. Oh, wow. What a story.
Yeah, it was, and now we have Leo.
Yeah.
So Leo's name's Leo Valeri.
Yes.
After Eddie.
Yeah.
And
And I will say just a little segue into the Pearl Jam. So I always knew Pearl Jam, obviously, but never was like a huge fan. I think I knew like 3 songs. And Dave was like, just like you and Vince, like this Pearl Jam fan.
Oh,
And
don't kid yourself. I didn't know who Pearl Jam was before Vince.
yes, I know that.
So-
Yes, so we saw each other at the Hamilton show. Actually, you sat right beside us, and then Dave. I was like, okay, I'm not obviously like a groupie. Take someone else to the Toronto show, and who sat right beside him again?
Yeah.
But Vince. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a bromance just like waiting to happen. And he put in for the lottery for this time around in Nashville, and I think another show. He was just somewhere else. They were just somewhere else. Anyways, we got the 2 tickets, 2 shows in Nashville. And we weren't sure if we were going to go because my dad was in the hospital, and my dad was like, go. He just wanted us to go and have a good time. And yes, that song, Just Breathe, like it brought me to tears. I was listening to it before we even went. And, they played different songs each night. And Dave looked at me and he's just like, I think they're going to play it. And just I don't know, maybe because I was just going through things, it hit differently. Mm-hmm. He was such a soulful, like philanthropist, just a kind person. He was saying like all these things about all the mothers and Mother's Day, and I was like, I think I get it. I think I get it now. So yes, the Pearl Jam obsession. I can finally say I'm not obsessed, but I do understand it. So
they're true talent.
Yeah.
Like they're just,
and I love that was part of your story. So you got pregnant, and then we were talking about career change, I think. Oh no, so the pandemic, I think. Right.
Yeah, the pandemic.
Are we going there? I think we can't. You and
I
I are
don't-
very aligned.
I don't think we can't go there, but I think
we can go with how we were feeling at the time.
Yeah.
Just not what our beliefs are.
fair.
Okay.
Yeah, we might lose a lot of
Yeah.
losers.
Did you say a lot of losers?
Users.
Oh,
like-
users. Okay. I was like,
No,
can't
not
say that.
losers.
Okay.
Well, that too,
Yeah.
but
So it was 2020. So it was 2020, March 2020.
Yeah.
So things were starting to get a little strange, January, February, and then March of 2020, the world shut down. You were still doing real estate as well as running
The daycare.
Kindertown. Yeah. And is it Kindertown? It's called
Kindertown, yeah. Yep.
And Vince, were you moving at the time, or where were you physically?
I was in Burlington. And
right.
yeah, so
Yeah, I took
we were
your
in
photos
Burlington.
of the house. Yes, right.
Well, I had to move because
Yes.
I got pregnant.
Right. Okay.
So we were in Burlington, loved living in Burlington, and then COVID hit. At the same time that COVID hit, in April, I got pregnant again.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another night where
Yeah.
Vince and I were carefree.
Yeah.
Despite the stress, we shipped our son Leo to my parents' house for the night. And
I love
2
it.
bottles of wine in, I got pregnant.
I love it.
Yeah. So we have Mateus now. He's my COVID baby.
Yes.
So because of Mateus, we had to move to Hamilton, closer to mom, closer to the daycare. And this was all during COVID. This was all during the
Masking and 6
Yeah.
feet apart and
Yeah.
can't hug your parents and bubble and
Yeah, and I was fucking terrified.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fucking terrified. 'Cause
We all were.
I remember in Burlington, bringing my son Leo, who at the time would have been 2.5, almost 3.
your miracle child.
My baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was home. Obviously, everybody was home. And I remember getting dressed up and I said, okay, let's go for a walk. And we went to Leo's Park. There was a park around the corner from us that we referred to as Leo's Park. And it was cornered off. It had caution tape around it.
It's like it was a scene from a movie or something.
And-
the whole thing was bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my son started crying because he couldn't go to the park. I'm going to start crying.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It was a rough time for sure.
It scared me because
Yeah.
I thought, whoa, how can this be actual reality? I can't bring my kid to the park. And it scared the shit out of me because I thought, we don't know where we're going with this. How do I protect him from this? It's so beyond us. And I think that's
I think everybody was scared at the beginning too because we just didn't know.
No.
Like I remember like washing our groceries in the garage.
Oh, I
and,
never
like-
did that.
Like no, but like
Yeah.
because it was just like I don't know. Like, do we get the vaccine? We're not going to go with the V word there.
No.
But do we? Don't we? And then I remember thinking, if I can't hug my mother, you might as well just fucking kill me. Like, if I can't hug the people that I love, then like I'm just gonna die of the virus, I guess, because I can't live like that. And it was just so psychologically bizarre seeing people walking 6 feet apart, and I don't think people knew.
no, nobody
You didn't
knew.
know, so
And you had one extreme to the next,
yes,
right?
Yep.
And in the span of a year, I lost friends.
Yep.
We lost family.
Yep. Same.
You know, I met
Yep.
new people. I don't know if you saw, like I had the ability to meet a wonderful, amazing group of women where literally we all just joined together
Yeah.
to create the most, because that's what concerned me the most was my son.
Mm-hmm.
And him having the most normal childhood that he ever could. Never wore a mask.
Yeah.
I didn't prevent him from, having play dates. Like with these group of, like we call ourselves the Mama Llamas. It's kind of,
I love it.
Yeah. I give credit to Literacy Mathematics Academy down in Stony Creek.
Yep.
She was able to help us create that normalcy that no child had during this time. My son went to school. He never wore a mask. He was able to socialize with friends, and he had.
Did you get ousted for that?
No. Most people thought we were crazy because
Yeah.
I didn't mask my child. But I thought they were crazy. And
We're not
frankly-
getting into the conspiracy
Yeah,
theory
we're
that
not
you and
gonna get
I
into- Yeah.
have had many conversations about. But yes, so it was like a very tumultuous time. It was very confusing. And then you joined this group and it was like-minded women. And that probably helped you along through
I think it's the
pandemic. It
only
saved
thing.
you.
Yeah, I think it's the only thing that helped us get through. As I said, we tried to make the most normal upbringing for my son as we could.
And then the information kept changing every day. So it was like, you're not quite sure what's happening today and what's the new rules and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
And he was 3 at the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, he turned 4 during
So he
COVID.
missed out on like kindergarten?
No.
Or no?
Math.
Oh, because of the, okay.
Yeah. No,
So
yeah.
that was a full experience or education
full
experience.
There was no 6 degree, like 6
Yes,
feet
6
of
feet of
There was
separation,
nothing
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I don't know if I should actually say that because I might get in trouble.
Okay, maybe we'll just cut anything political for sure.
Yeah.
Right, Jamie?
Doesn't matter, talk,
Okay.
obviously.
Okay. Yeah, but we're not going to keep the part in about that.
You know what though? It was legitimate. She did do it legitimately, like
Yeah.
so she wouldn't get in
Yeah.
trouble. But she was able to create a very normal
environment
for all our kids, and I'm forever grateful.
So it's like
for
they
that.
never really missed out on
No.
that time.
No, he honestly
They had the socialization, and
It was no different for him.
Yeah,
It was,
I
and
love
that,
that.
and that was my goal and my husband's goal.
Yeah.
We tried to for Thanksgiving, we shepherded, like we got people in our car and drove them into our garage, and we
Yeah.
had a huge Thanksgiving
Yeah.
feast, right? Like we made it as normal as we could.
I don't think a lot of parents can say that they could do that for their children because they had to either work full time at the hands of
Well, kids
someone
were
else
home.
and homeschool and all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like I'm sure, I was affected. I wasn't a mom, but I was affected with my business and all that stuff. So, anyways, let's move past
So
that
anyways,
nightmare
yeah.
of a year.
So COVID was the start.
Yeah.
COVID, like most people during COVID, I delved into, all the things
theories
that,
and-
and I became informed, and I
Yes.
learned a lot.
Because we never had time to become informed in the
No.
past. That's the other thing. Because I was like, how am I just hearing about this information now? But because we had the time to do the kind of deep dive into information, it's like,
But why? But why? Because all the noise and all
Yeah.
the things about life take us away from the
Yeah.
reality of what's really happening,
Yeah.
right? Because what happened during COVID? The world shut down.
Yeah.
We were at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
So what did people do?
I enjoyed it, actually. I mean, I enjoyed the time. I enjoyed
You know
the
what?
time.
There's a lot of benefits that came out
Yeah,
of COVID.
yeah.
But the damage that COVID has
Yes,
caused.
for sure. I don't think people are still okay. I still think
No.
5 years later, people haven't. I was terrified when the world opened up again because I was like, how do we do this again? Like I had become so used to things slowing down.
Yeah.
That I was like, how do we just now undo this whole hustle culture? Like I was like, if I ever hear the word hustle one more time, like to me I don't want that lifestyle anymore that we used to chase.
I think the scariest thing for me was how easily family and friends turned against
yes.
each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that's where that whole like stripping the truth down to like the raw realness of
Yeah.
who you are and what you want. That's when it really started, because I realized like, shit, like you fucking turned your back on me like that.
I know. But the thing is, it's like there was so much information on both sides. It's like, can't we just hear each other? Like, I might not agree with you, but I'm sure there's articles written on both sides. So it's like, why can't we just, nobody could agree to disagree at that time. It was like almost like a moral code that you were breaking if you chose one side over the other. And then it divided families, divided ours as well.
Oh yeah, we had that as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I realized, like, when it really comes down to it, the only people that really give a fuck about you is your family,
Yeah. Well,
and that's it. And that's it.
and sometimes not even that.
And
Yeah.
sometimes not even
Yeah.
that, right? Like, and
Like your immediate household, I think, right? And you're lucky if you've got like siblings and aunts and uncles and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I feel that for sure. So,
that's when it all started for me. Like, that's when it really, really started.
okay.
And then 2023, my father-in-law was diagnosed with cancer, prostate cancer.
Yeah.
I think it was like October, November. And my father-in-law was an amazing man, and he loved my boys.
Yeah, it's okay.
Anyways, so his decline was so fast. And
I get
watching a man that has so much to give still, like I still remember the last day that he was conscious, we brought the boys. Do you see how you know what I'm feeling? 'Cause-
that. Oh, I do, because yeah.
So, we brought the boys because it was the last time they were going to see him, and it was for his birthday. And at this point, he was in respite care at home with his wife, who, God bless her soul, took care of him right till the end at home, so he could have some dignity left. And I remember we were at his house, and the bed was in the living room. He was in a diaper.
Yeah.
And his wife made us dinner, and she wanted us all to go to the table. And he refused to stay in the bed.
Yeah.
So he shuffled over to the table so he could enjoy a meal with us. And I could just see in his eyes,
Like he didn't want to go.
he didn't want
I
to
know.
go. He didn't want to go. And he had a smile on his face, and he tried his hardest, but he lasted maybe 5 minutes, and then he had to go back to the bed. And I just thought to myself, like,
what am I sweating the small shit for?
Oh, no, like, what would he have done differently? What would he give to just have just another month, another
Yeah.
year? You know, like my kids, he was like enamored by them. And I just keep thinking about like the loss that my kids have with him not being around. Right? So he got diagnosed. He got sick. November, the decline was so fast. And then in January, actually Christmas Eve, my girlfriend Josie broke her leg. We laughed about it, right? We said, like, of all things, how the fuck do you break your leg walking your dog, right? And she was at home. She was pissed. She's like, I can't believe I broke my leg. I can't do anything. You know, we were talking about her.
That's your best friend, right? Or was your best friend?
Yeah. So Josie and I, we go way back.
Yeah.
I met Josie through my brother, through my older brother. They were friends. And her and I just, at first she was like, you know, that older figure that she kind of looked out for me. And then eventually we just started hanging out, going out, and we ended up moving in together. And we lived together for quite some time. And then we had a falling out.
Our stories are so similar.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And you know what? I think back to this falling out, and I wish I would have fought more. But when you get
How long was the split?
It was a while. I got married in 2010. At the same time that I got married, she started dating somebody, moved to Cambridge. There was just so many things going on that, like, I started living my life with Vince. She started living her life with her boyfriend at the time. And it was just, I don't think we fought enough, right? And I don't think either of us realized how quickly time would go by.
Right.
Before I knew it, like, I had Leo. It was almost 8 years that we lost, which, you know, I kept tabs on her because I still loved her. I still loved her. I still cared about what happened to her.
It's a funny thing about girl friendships too, right? Because it's like there's a bit of shame that comes with that, where it's like, I read this book before called The One Who Got Away. And it was a book about girlfriends written from both sides of the story. So
There's always three
there's
sides.
always three sides.
Yeah.
And just to show you what parallel lives we live, I also got married in 2010. And I also had a best friend named Josie, who also was not there for me for 10 years. We had a falling out because we also never had one argument ever.
Never.
And then did not speak for 10 years. So I just find that our stories are just very parallel. So anyway, so 8 years, you hadn't been in touch. You're kind of keeping on tabs.
Yeah, we
tabs on her.
Yeah, we touch base here and there. Like, you know, her family is a beautiful family, and you know, I talked to her siblings, no problem. I don't remember exactly why we reconnected. I think it was because of Leo. Actually, no, because I think it was Leo. And
Doesn't
I remember,
matter. Doesn't matter.
No,
why,
it doesn't
right?
matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But we reconnected, and it was like
Nothing. No time has passed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
It's like, what did I do without you in my life for all this time?
Yeah, and we were both actually ashamed at the fact that we let so much time go by. But when you let so much time go by, it's so harder to get
I know.
back.
It's true.
You
It's
know?
true. There's like pride or just like shame or just fear of like rejection or
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just,
All
or
those
it might not
things.
be the same. Like, it's like,
It's
oh,
never
no.
the same.
Yes.
It's
But it
never the
can
same.
be better because it's like you're now more mature. You're a mother. You've experienced loss and now you're back together. So it's like, okay, this may not be the same as it was, but like maybe it's not supposed to be.
No,
Maybe
and
it's supposed to evolve.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think if you think that you're gonna go back to the same that you were, then
Yeah.
your expectations
Yeah.
are all backwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just fell right back into it. Like, and she loved my boys. Like, she loved my boys, and that's why I loved her even more, because when you have kids or when you get married, you realize like who is
Who your
gonna be
people.
part of,
Yeah, yeah.
And if you don't love my boys as much as I do,
Yeah.
you're not as important to me as
Yeah.
you can be, right? So she loved my boys. So our relationship just we just synced right back in. I moved back to Hamilton. And then COVID hit. And then we got even tighter because she, like us, had the same views.
Yeah.
And we just reconnected, and she was my person. She was, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, it's fine.
She was my person.
Cuddle up, cozy in.
So, like I said, before everything happened, I was a closed off person. She was someone that literally I could call and vent, and she would just know
What to
me.
say. Yeah.
What to say. She could hear my voice and she would know something was wrong. She was my person. And so that was our relationship. It was like easy. And I didn't have to talk to her every day. Like there would be weeks that, just life got busy and we wouldn't talk. But text messages, all how's it going? Everything okay? And it was our relationship. And ironically, I got pregnant in April. And jokingly, we talked because my son's due date was January. And jokingly, she said, wouldn't it be amazing if he has my birthday? Wouldn't that be crazy? So lo and behold, December 14th, I go into labor. And I have Mateus on December 14th, which is Josie's birthday. And I remember calling her, messaging her. I said, guess what? Mateus has your birthday. And she was over the fucking moon. And his first birthday, she said to me, did you ever think that you would have to celebrate your son's birthday with me for the rest of his life? And then she passed away 2 years, a year later.
Yeah.
Right? So we had 2 birthdays with her. And every year it's been, Mateus and celebrating one more year without her, right? So I still remember the phone call I got from her sister. And I didn't believe it. She called me and she said, Ange, I got to tell you something. Josie's gone. And I thought she was joking. I'm like, I just talked to her. I'm like, how's that fucking possible? She broke her leg. What the fuck happened? She got a clot. And they did everything to help her. And that was it. And it wasn't reality. It wasn't reality.
I think also going through similar things with my ex-husband who passed away around Christmas time, 2023, also just leveled me in a way that my dad, it was hard for me, but it wasn't the same level of I can't breathe, and I was leveled for like a year. I just couldn't pull myself out because of the shock of it and the guilt of my marriage not working out and the thing, maybe I should have treated him better and all that kind of stuff. And so that guilt and loss, it really affects you. And so moving forward, is that what you would say, like having all this loss and the pandemic and all these kind of things that led you up to this new chapter?
That's not even that was
more.
the start.
Okay, we just have to stop for 1 second. So I just wondered how much time we have, Jamie. Like, are we going over? Because I know we're going into a lot of detail.
I'm on an emotional roller coaster.
Yes, I know,
See,
right?
like,
You guys are phenomenal.
another 15 minutes, you're about 45 minutes.
Okay, we haven't even gotten into your business yet.
We're near the end.
No, and that's fine. Like, I just wanted to make sure.
Well, Josie was just the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't even know this. Right
Okay,
now, which
so
I don't know your whole story. So.
Yeah. So Josie passed away in January, which I don't think I truly understood the absence of her life, like the absence of her in my life, until months later.
Oh, for sure.
So Josie passed away, which I think was
Rocked
just rocked me.
Yeah.
Because we were just talking about how much she was going to do in the coming year, and to know that she just didn't have that chance to finally be herself is really what hit me. And then my father-in-law passed away. So Josie passed away in
So
January.
she was first, and then he.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Josie passed away. I remember leaving her funeral to go to my father-in-law's house to sit with him because he was just declining so quickly. So my son's birthday is in February. And my father-in-law knows his birthday. His birthday is February 6th. And February 6th, we got a call saying, it's time. He waited until February 7th. So he passed away February 7th. So that was that.
And I feel like that they know.
Yeah.
Having just gone through that with my dad, it's like they're holding on, and then it is their time to go.
I really think he waited.
Yes.
Because he didn't want to kind of shadow Leo's birthday.
Yeah.
So during all this, my mom found a lump in her breast. And that was December. So she went for biopsy in December. I think it was mid-January. It was confirmed cancer. So it hit us. And my mom is like the rock.
The center, the heart of the whole
Rusomano
family.
Yeah, she's the one that started Kindertown.
Yep.
You know,
she's like a legend.
Rock. She is.
Yes.
Yeah. She's like everybody's nonna, everybody's Zia.
Yeah. That can't happen to her.
No.
Yeah.
And honestly, I really believed it wouldn't be cancer. I really believed this can't fucking happen. This cannot
Not
happen to us, to her. And when we found out, that was it. I'm like, this can't fucking happen. I can't lose the 3 people that matter most, right? So we went to oncology appointment after oncology appointment. We originally thought it was going to be less than it was. It ended up being more. And they made it a grim diagnosis. Mastectomy, hormone therapy, radiation, chemo. And my mom shrunk. So I delved into every possible thing that could help her because she refused to remove her breast.
Yeah.
Because it would kill her.
Yeah.
She refused to do chemo and she refused to do radiation. And the strength in which she had that conviction gave me the strength to figure out how the fuck we need to figure this out. So
move back to Italy to start.
Yeah. So anyways, through multiple therapies, through multiple doctors, through the strength of 10 men, she did it. We did it. Her 5.7 mass in her breast is gone. And in that year and a half that we've been doing all these things, I was introduced to German New Medicine. I met someone who introduced me to
German New Medicine.
German
right? Yeah,
New Medicine.
I heard of this through you.
I've told you about it.
I delved in.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really stems up to the belief that trauma, stress, and anything naturally triggered in your body will trigger an ailment in your body, essentially.
100%.
Right? So,
because I think I told you that Michael's mom got a brain tumor right after he had passed away.
Yeah.
And it was I think the stress of that, how that was it just a coincidence? I'm not sure.
German New Medicine would be a whole other podcast.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're not going to.
That would be.
Yeah.
I honestly am so enamored by it that I've been taking a course through Rachel, who introduced me to it.
Okay.
And she's brilliant. She's so. And I can call her up and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And she'll tell me something, and I'm like amazing. It's reframed.
So we'll go down that path maybe for another.
Yeah.
Because it is quite interesting.
It is.
Have you heard of it? German New. Yeah.
Oh my God!
New
You
Medicine.
should have Rachel on here.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's essentially believing in your body. It's believing in the brilliance that we have in able to healing ourselves. And really, that's really what it stems. Understanding your body, understanding your triggers, understanding that everything that happens in our body is our body has the ability to heal it, right? Unfortunately, what happens is when we find certain ailments in our body, Western medicine gets involved, and that's when you get the chemo, the radiation, the removal of body parts, and that's where it complicates things. But it really comes down to the ability to having that faith in your body. And I had to coach my mom through it all because she would be discouraged. Like she would be going to get treatments, and one person that she would be talking to one week would be gone the next. And then the fear of death and the fear of
all this
those are all,
energy and the
Yeah.
negative thinking. I truly believe in, Dave calls me woo woo, right? He's like,
It is-
it
yeah.
is woo woo, but I also believe that, what did I say to you? Something like the truth vibrates at 1,000 times more than a lie, because energetically, if you're out of alignment and you're not being authentic, and I truly believe in all that kind of stuff. So let's just go back. So I think I had asked you, what was your breaking point? So all these things.
I can't pinpoint the exact breaking point, because I think I never got to properly grieve Josie, because then I had to help my husband grieve his father.
Yeah.
And then I was helping my mom. So I never properly grieved anything.
And so as most women, you put yourself on the back burner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gained weight. I was losing sleep.
Yeah.
Nothing else mattered but helping mom.
Right.
I was on the computer looking, like I can't say, I think when mom's tumor started shrinking, or her cancer started shrinking, I think that's when I started realizing, like, this can't
Something
be it.
has to change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this can't be it. There has to be more.
Okay.
Why are we doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we like, and my father-in-law at the dinner table, and Josie was such a bitch. Like she was like me. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
she didn't give a fuck about what anybody said.
Yeah.
She did what she wanted. She said what she wanted. But if she loved you, she fucking fought for
yeah.
you, and she was there for you.
Yeah.
And every time I think about something, she comes to the back
So
of my mind.
you've almost like embodied her.
She's like,
She's the voice, and
she's my voice.
Yeah.
Like everybody has a saboteur. Everybody
Yes.
has that voice that comes in and says, you're not good enough. You're not this, or they're better than you, or, yeah.
I love that. You did a post about the saboteur, and I was like,
It's that voice.
Yeah.
It's that thing that stops you from doing anything. But Josie, she's my voice that
Yeah.
says, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck them. You can do this. I'm like,
and here we are.
and here we are, right? So it's funny because it was around the summer of 2024 when mom's tumor was shrinking, everything was getting like on track, like, and my husband looked at me because I got into like a little bit of a depression. Like I was going through the motions. I was not happy. I was crying at night. Like,
Yeah.
because I couldn't cry in front of anybody else. I couldn't show weakness in front of my family, like my brothers. Like I was the rock. I was the one that had to have it all together.
Yeah.
So I would cry in the shower. I would cry, like when I would put my son Mateus down, I would cry. I was sending Josie text messages of how I was feeling for like months after she passed. I think it was like 8 months. And I would write to her novels because I had nobody else to talk. She was my person.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, and just to interject, when I lost my Josie, I did this entire blog post kind of dedicated to her, hoping that she would read it one day. And it was like, best friends need not apply. Like I was like, I'll never replace her. I don't want another best friend ever in my life.
And that's just it,
yeah.
right? Like, I don't remember when I stopped writing to her. I don't remember when I stopped, but I still hadn't properly grieved. And the fucked up thing is I never realized it until like 2 months ago. My cousin said, you know what, let's do a girls' weekend at the cottage. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So myself, my cousin, her daughter, and my sister-in-law, who all have fucking baggage.
Yeah. Who doesn't these days?
We all had our baggage.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know what? I thought,
Yours was under control.
I'm good. I'm under control, right? I've gone through the courses. I'd gone through everything. I'll get back to why I got into coaching. But
It's sneaky though, right? It's
Oh my
sneaks out
God.
at unexpected times, and sometimes right out your eyeballs.
when you least fucking
Yes,
expect it.
yeah.
So we were at the cottage, and we were drinking, we were laughing, and since I've been through the course, like Coactive is fantastic. And
That's the coaching course?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I learned so much about myself. And it was 100 hours of like intensive, like coaching, getting coached, coaching others, learning different ways of talking to people and really listening. So it's become how I have conversations with people. So like my drive up with my sister-in-law, she's like, you got to stop coaching me now, right? Because
Yeah.
she got emotional. And then, you know,
And
we're
also
sitting-
some people aren't ready to hear that.
No.
You have to know your audience to say, you got to meet them where they are.
you know what
So-
though? Nobody's ready to hear the truth.
Yeah.
Like,
I think you are when I always say when the pain outweighs the fear, you're like, I can't do this anymore. I can't.
you have to get to that
You
point.
have to get to
Yeah.
rock bottom to be like, you know what? I can't. It's funny, actually, Jamie, when my marriage was ending, I would just keep going on and on and on. And he said to me, I'm so fucking sick and tired of hearing the same story. Oh, he's like, call me when like you
You're
made
done.
a decision. Like, right? And I literally like didn't talk to you for years because I was, what a prick, right? But actually it was the truth, and I kind of moved on years later, and here we are, right? So
Yeah.
but you're right, people aren't ready to hear the truth until they are. And then
Well, I
and
think-
it's the way it's delivered too, because you know,
See, that's-
maybe I was ready to hear "Don't be a suck" because I knew that I was feeling sorry for myself. I knew that my scenario with a blended family was like, I was going on about it. I had just lost my dad. That's what actually really mattered. And I was going on and on about it. And you were like, you know what, you're kind of being a suck. And I was like, well, fuck you. Like in the past.
No, you didn't say that.
No, you did. Yeah, you did. I have it right here. But it was like, and I was like, in the past, I probably would have been like, block, delete. But actually, I was like, well, like,
But do you know
let's
why? Do you
dive
know-
into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you know why I said that though? Because everything you were fighting about was so trivial.
It's so trivial.
It's- It was so trivial.
Yeah. And I can
And-
get so, what's the word when you do, when you're in your head ruminating, like the ruminating things, I get so focused on things that I lose sight of the bigger picture.
Absolutely.
And so when someone like our dads die or our best friends pass away or, you know, infertility and all these bigger topics, it's like, oh my gosh, like what am I complaining about this silly stuff for? So I do have one quote from you here that I wanted to get into because I loved this. So I actually 3:00 in the morning went through all of your Instagram things because I was like, I consider myself a writer, but you wrote things, unless it was AI, but it wasn't.
It's a combination of both.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, some of these things are like written in like there was no cliches, and I loved that. Like there was no.
I hate cliches.
Same.
Yeah.
And so who you know, you don't see any live, love, laugh art in my
Yeah.
house or anything that's like, you know. So anyway, so you had written, you attract what you are, not what you pretend to be. You can journal all day, manifest under the full moon, say the affirmations, and still pull in the same shit because energy doesn't care about your performance. It answers to your patterns, your beliefs, your nervous system. So if you're tired of calling in all the wrong people, the wrong opportunities, the wrong damn life, stop pretending you're aligned and start becoming it. No more fake it till you make it, feel it till you are it. And I loved that.
So did I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's true.
Because people are pretending, aren't they?
Oh, I think
so,
everybody is.
So I think there is a performance that has to happen, especially in our line of work where you're working with the public. And, you know, I mean, I shot a wedding the day after Vern died. And the bride was like, thank you for showing up. And I was like, is there an option? Like, it's the happiest day of your life. And I'm like, I'm going to go cry in the washroom, but I'm going to show up because that's what he taught me to do. You have to show up no matter what. But like, yeah, so there is a performance to some degree. And you can pretend, like you said, you can be like, oh, well, I'm spiritually, there's an arrogance with that too. Sometimes the spiritual leaders can kind of have like sort of like a know-it-all type attitude. So there's that. But what was I saying? I forget.
I think that just too many people aren't really living authentically. Like I
Yes,
think too
yeah.
many people,
Or they're pretending to be because it's trendy, like to journal and like hold some crystals. But like, are you a good soul? Are you like a good person? Are you happy?
Yeah.
Or are you like?
Yeah, and are you really like in a place where you're ready to make that change? Because I think a lot of people, like you said, it's trendy. Like going to buy a journal, and what are you putting in your journal?
Right.
Are you really like pouring yourself into that
Are
journal?
you
or are
writing
you-
it as if someone else is going to read it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah. but it really comes down to really understanding where you're coming from when you are journaling. Like,
And so how do you get to that point of, like, we kind of established that you're out of pain and out of feeling like I can't be stuck like this anymore. You make a change. But so what is the journey then of moving past, okay, I'm like when you're done, and I always say that about a woman, like whatever life decision, like when you're done, you're done. So how? Like, even when I met Dave, he's like, you're always talking to me about doing the work. He's like, how? And I was like, it's funny you should ask me that, because I have a book right here by the holistic psychologist called How to Do the Work. And it just started with like that question, like, well, like how? And so I always ask that to therapists or like life coaches, like,
but I think only you would have that answer, right? Like, I think everybody's different. Like, I don't think there's a one size fits all for anybody. Like, for me, I can tell you what my experience is I literally got to the point where I was tired of being the rock for everybody. And I was tired of being strong for everybody else. I was tired of showing up to work and pretending like none of it
everything's
mattered.
okay. How are you? Good, good. I hate
Yeah.
that. Good, good. Good, good. If there's a double good, you're
But
not
you know
good.
what, though? People receive you differently.
What do you mean?
So, like I said originally, like before, when people originally met me, they thought I was a bitch because I was so just
guarded. Armor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wore my armor.
Standoffish. Yeah.
I use armor, you
As
know,
like
on
a
my
visual.
posts and whatever. But amongst friends, we say my penis.
Yeah.
right? Like, seriously, everybody says, "Put your penis away." Like, stop being such. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Put it
Because
away.
there's a place for the feminine energy. I think the masculine, that's a whole other conversation about
Exactly.
like having to
Exactly.
be like, especially in a very male dominated industry.
Exactly.
I found that same thing with photography and real estate. I am friends with a lot of realtors because we have similar mindsets, similar hours, similar dramas, and all that kind of stuff. And you do, in a male dominated industry, have to kind of whip your dick out. Right? Like,
Absolutely.
and really just,
But how far can you whip it?
Yeah.
Because really,
Well-
at the end of the day, like, for example, real estate, right? Like, and I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day. Like, I loved real estate. When I started real estate, I loved it. I was ready to leave the daycare, do real estate, and then I got pregnant. And then the idea of leaving my son to go do showings and do,
Yes.
I was like, no fucking way. Like, I
Actually-
needed 8 years to have this bundle of
Yep.
chubbiness. There's no way
Yep.
I am leaving him.
so your priorities totally changed.
Totally
Yeah.
changed. My passion became a nuisance. I literally switched so fast, and I essentially put real estate on the back burner. And it's still kind of on the back burner, and I do love it, but I have my boys for maybe another couple years. I want to dedicate as much time and energy to them until they don't want me anymore, right? And that's another reason why I went into coaching, right? Because coaching is, I can work with who I want to work with. I can work when I want to work, where I want to work.
Flexible.
Flexible.
Yeah.
And it's rewarding. Like, that was the biggest thing for me. Like, I know what I went through the last 5 years. The last 5 years emotionally stripped me of that armor. And it's crazy because before, I would never easily tear up. Like, I think
No,
I cried
I-
like 7
I
times
don't-
today.
yeah.
But I would never tear up. Like, people used to, my husband
Well,
used
you're
to think,
made of tin.
yeah, yeah.
You'd get rusty.
But that's how I was. That's
Yeah.
how I wanted to That's how I wanted to be portrayed.
Do you also
right?
think that's a cultural thing? Because I'm friends with a lot of Italian. I love my Italian people, but I do find the European culture is very much about keeping things quiet in your family. You don't share family kind of business or that kind of stuff. So I wonder if you found that because I grew up in a very like Canadian type household, so it wasn't a cultural thing. But do you think that has something to do with it?
Again, I think every family's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like culturally, but I think culturally, like, Europeans are very loving as well,
true.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I've always felt loved.
Yeah.
I've always, you know, my parents I had an amazing upbringing.
Yeah.
But did my parents hug and kiss me every day and tell me they loved me?
There was no love language back then. It was like, you're gonna
No.
get the spoon and like,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so I grew up not not that it was about, it was just
No.
the way it was,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
they showed me their love
Yes.
in other ways,
Yeah.
right? Now, like I can't kiss or hug my kids
Yeah.
enough, right?
Well, we
So
know
they
more.
know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's why I had that, and it's not, and to be honest, like growing up, you have friends, you lose friends, and it impacts who you are.
And now you're in the coaching world.
Yeah. So
and it's very rewarding.
it's very, but see, what I've noticed and what I've learned is that when people see your emotion, it makes you real. It really does.
Yeah.
And
who needs more perfectly curated content
Right,
out there?
right.
Who wants that? I can't even turn on social. I
Like-
can't even look at things anymore. It's because even in my industry, it's very, I am perpetuating a false narrative, and it makes me sick. Actually, sometimes it's just like, I actually had a photographer come and photograph my dad's funeral because I thought it was such a beautiful thing. And it was like so I feel like there's a lot of that.
yeah.
Lost my thought there for a second, but
It's the realness. It's
Yes,
the rawness,
yeah.
right? Like I think people are so used to getting a facade from others,
Right.
and nobody's really like, I have 20 staff. They know that if they come talk to me, they're gonna get the brutal truth, right? My family says that I'm brutally honest to a fault, right? But
and that was one of the quotes that I wanted to read, which was like, Ange is like finding a brutally honest best friend who won't let you settle for less. I walked away from every session feeling clearer and stronger. And so I guess my question to you was like, how does someone know that it's time to get a coach, or how is coaching the right thing for them, like different than therapy, or is it just like, okay, I'm stuck in my life, I need a life coach, or like what's even your intake process? Are you
I think you have to like me.
Yeah,
First and
yeah.
foremost, right? But I do think everybody has their breaking point, right? And I do think everybody has their own reasons, and there's no real right or wrong way to find a coach or to. I think it really just resonates with what their messaging is and
Right.
who they are, and
I also
having a
think it's-
conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like it.
I think it's important too, like any other life coach. I've had people try to coach me who haven't been through what I've been through. So I was like, you can't be a life coach through a divorce if you don't. And they were like, well, you don't really need to go through a divorce to understand it. And I'm like, in my books, you do, because it's set.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no, because yes, you're going through a divorce, but your emotions and the reasons why you have those emotions don't have to be relatable because I went through a divorce, right?
I guess so. I guess.
And
yeah.
that's where it comes with like discovering, because a lot of things are also triggered and things that you might not even be aware of that are causing you to have these emotions, right? Like, why did you get divorced in the first place? Like, those are all things that, there might be a rooted reason that you're not even thinking of.
So would you work with people like in a therapeutic type of way, or are you combining?
It's not therapy.
It's
Like,
not therapy.
No.
It feels like therapy to me, and I love therapy. I
know
have
what?
all the
There's-
self-help books in the world. Like that's my
There's
jam.
a very blurred line. Therapy, I think, delves more into your past and talks about,
like being the child, what do they call it? Inner child, like inner child
Yeah.
and family systems. And,
coaching is more about like talking about the now, the future, the what ifs, and really you have all the answers, right? It's just I have to find the right questions, right? And
so you
it
kind of
really
dig and uncover the truth, and then just sort of guide someone in
Yeah.
the direction that they deep down already know.
Yeah.
We all deep down know.
Yeah.
We know when something is off, when our life is not aligned, when we're feeling completely not ourselves. We
your
know.
intuition
Yeah.
is
It's superpower. And people
superpower.
just literally ignore that. And I saw something on Oprah once. It was like, the human species is the only species who ever ignores that deep voice because they don't want to appear rude. Like the animal species would literally, like, if they had one small feeling about something, they'd be out because it's life or death. And
Yeah.
we kind of just ignore that, or it's just,
Well, that's
but
where
it's
your
always
saboteur
there.
comes in.
Yeah, saboteur. I love
Yeah,
that.
that's where your saboteur comes in, right? That's that voice that tells you you're not good enough, that tells you you can't do it.
Yeah.
And everybody has one, right? So you almost have to come up with another voice that helps argue against your saboteur.
like your like the
your inner voice.
Flintstones, remember
Yeah.
the guy that
or
like
the,
sat
the
on
angel
the little,
and the devil, right? Yeah, exactly. But it's since delving into coactive, taking the course, I've learned so much about myself. I've reframed the way I talk to people. It's
love
hard. It's really hard to do it with my family.
Yeah. They also have to be open-minded, and they also are probably like have witnessed you changing. So they want to kind of tie your old identity to people are
They
not
can't
always
separate the
yeah,
two.
people are not always comfortable with when you change and evolve because you're the mirror, and it's like, "Oh, this is not making me feel comfortable." So
But my family's, they've known me for so long
Right.
as this.
Yes.
So for
Yeah.
them to accept me as
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
it's taking like a process. But because they keep referring to me as, the bitch and this, that, the
Yeah.
other thing, they respond to me in that way. And I find it so frustrating because I'm not that person anymore.
Yes.
You know, I really am.
I can see that
So
you've
different.
changed. Like it's just even energetically, like you're just like not that you were
Because you know what?
Yeah.
It's so much more freeing not giving a fuck,
yeah, true.
right?
Fuck them. That's what we're going to call this podcast. Fuck them. It is freeing. And so I think, are you wanting me to kind of,
Wrap it up.
yeah. Okay. So I don't know how to wrap that up because that was actually really good. I loved having just a conversation like that without it being scripted. I did want to ask you something. You had a quote about music because you and I share a love of music.
Love music.
And so you had posted a quote, music is more than sound. It's memory, it's medicine, it's movement. And when words fail, it's a thing that brings you back to yourself every time. So I wanted to ask you, what's that one song for you?
Oh my God, there's so many.
Yeah, so many. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I grew up with music.
Yeah.
My dad used to have, I remember CDs, cassette tapes.
Yes. Yep.
Right? I'm aging
8
myself.
tracks.
Yeah. Not that old, but cassette tapes stacked. And we used to blare music all the time.
Yeah.
And I do that with my kids now.
I love it. It's
So my
important.
kids-
it's like the soundtrack of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many. But I'll tell you what, one song hit me to the point that I finally realized, as I was saying earlier, when I went to the cottage with my girlfriends, my cousins, all weekend we had the music blaring. We were dancing, like literally having a party.
Yeah, I love it.
And one song came on. It was No One by Alicia Keys.
Oh,
I know. And I didn't expect it. But this
you
song...
remind me of her a little bit. Like her demeanor. Yeah.
her song came on and we were stoned. I was stoned, drunk, and having a
Yeah.
good time.
And you got pregnant. No.
no, that would have been weird. No, but we were all dancing and we were having such a good time. And then that song came on, and Josie popped in my head, and I started bawling.
Oh my God. Years of tears are just coming out. Like,
Bawling. And I was off to the side, and I was dancing off to the side, and I just started bawling because she came to because I remember when we lived together, that song, I used to blare, and I loved it. I
Yeah.
had it on repeat, and it just reminded me of her. And I finally just bawled, and they didn't realize it.
yeah.
And then my one cousin came over, and she just put her arms around me, and I just...
You got to let it out.
Yeah. And that weekend, driving home, I felt so light.
Yes. Yeah.
And I finally feel like it was
Free.
just, yeah. And even now when I hear that song, it just like...
I wanted to say just one little extra thing about Alicia Keys because I was reading this book by Glennon Doyle, Untamed. If you've never read it, it's amazing. It's all different chapters. It's similar to Brene Brown. And there was a it's just like little life truths, but like in small little chapters. And so it was like Adam Levine, because they were on The Voice together. So Adam Levine walked into Alicia Keys' dressing room and she was putting on makeup. And there was this whole thing where she wasn't wearing makeup for a long time. And Adam Levine said to her, oh, I thought Alicia Keys doesn't wear makeup. And she turned to him and was like, I do whatever the fuck I want, right? Like, so I said that once before. Doesn't mean I can't change
Yeah.
or be something different now.
Yeah.
So fuck off, right?
Yeah.
So I loved that. And I thought that was kind of like a good segue out, right? Because
Yeah.
you're like, don't give a shit. Stop giving a shit about things that don't matter. And when you reach a breaking point, it's like you will know, and then it's time to kind of do something about it. And so how would people reach you then? So that, how are we going to say it again? Veracia? Veracia. So what is
Veracia.
the process to kind of,
So
for people to reach you?
I'm still in the building process.
Yeah.
Social media, Instagram
Right.
is really where we're at right now.
Is it Zoom calls or is it like a one-on-one?
It's Zoom,
Okay.
yeah. I find that most people feel more comfortable in their own environment
Yes, yeah.
than, going into an office or whatever. So it's Zoom right now. Yeah. And it's, I'm still in the building phase. I'm a year in and
Yeah. Wonderful.
I'm working with clients. Some are free, like some I'm not charging and some I'm charging. And,
Like this was free right here. Free. Good therapy for me. Although it's not therapy, but
Not
to me
therapy,
it
not
feels,
therapy, no.
To me it feels therapeutic and I loved this chat. I don't know. I thought we did amazing.
yeah, well, we've always had this
Yes.
ability to kind of shoot things back and forth. And
Yeah.
I do think
but
there's
not to
so
this
much
level.
more we could talk
I never
about.
knew this side of you before. I can
Nobody
honestly
did.
say that.
Nobody did.
And it's amazing to kind of witness, to see the evolution, because I think we grow up and people expect us to stay the same and they're not comfortable when we change and evolve. And
But when they see you're real, they receive
Yes.
you entirely different.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
Thanks so much for joining me today. I loved it. I loved everything that we talked about. And that's how it is on the Truth Lens.